Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my channel, Traveling with Jose. I'm Jose, and for today's video, I want to give you guys tips and advice if you're going to be a sailor stationed in Japan. First things first, I want to say I'm so happy that I got the opportunity to be stationed in Japan. I was there for 3.5 years. I got to do everything that I said I was going to do. I climbed Mount Fuji. I learned a little bit of Japanese. I ate a lot of sushi. I'm just happy with the experience that I had. And I want to give you guys some advice, some tips maybe about living in Japan, working in Japan with the US Navy. If you have any other questions that I don't answer in this video, don't forget to leave a comment in the section below. I will get back to you guys in a comment, or I can also do another video, whichever one works if there's enough questions. Of course, you're going to a new country, and in this new country, they speak a different language. Now, on base, yes, they will all speak English, of course. Once you're out that gate, it's all Japanese. So if you at least know the basics, it'll help you out a lot. In Japan, especially if you're gonna go eat, there's always set meals. So they'll give you a menu, and the picture will be in the menu. So you can just point to like, this, I want this. But if you're somebody else and you learn even a little bit of Japanese, you could be like, kore onegaishimasu, like, kore onegaishimasu, like, this please, and then they'll know what you mean also. And you'll feel that much better because you speak Japanese, but that's just me maybe. That's one thing that I can advise to you, just learn Japanese, even if it's just a little bit. I'll tell you right now, they appreciate you a lot more if you know the language. Do your research about the culture, the history, look up do's and don'ts of Japan. Like, don't walk into some places where you have to actually take off your shoes. Don't cut in line if you're at the train station. There's so many don'ts. Right? There's so many don'ts. I can't remember at the top of my head all of them right now. You'll save yourself that embarrassment. Trust me, I know. So before arriving to Japan, make sure you have contact with a counselor, someone that's in the military, someone that's in the Navy, of course, that will either pick you up or tell you where to be so that you can get picked up and get to base. Because trust me, from experience, I didn't have a counselor. I didn't know what I was doing. All I knew was that I had a flight from America to Japan. And it wasn't an actual airline flight with the airline companies and like an international airport. It was with a military airport. But still, when I got to the military airport, I was like, what am I doing? Like, where do I go? I'm not gonna say it's my fault that I didn't have a counselor. I'm just gonna say there was a lot of miscommunication. And I didn't get an email back, but yeah, get a counselor. And if you don't, well, you're gonna, either way, you're gonna get your ticket and you're gonna end up there. Some people end up at the international airport, like Japan, like Narita or Haneda airport, but I ended up at I totally forgot, but it's some Air Force base. So depending on where you fly out from, that flight can be 12 hours or it can be 20 something hours. Maybe a question you have is how much belongings, how many possessions should you take to Japan? I would say the least as possible. And I know from my life on board video, you'll be like, oh wow, Jose, you had so much stuff. That actually accumulated over a span of 3 years. So it's not like I went with all that stuff to Japan. And actually, I didn't tell you guys in that video, but you know, because a lot of people harassed me, you know, they were like, you have so much stuff, and I'm just like, you guys don't know everything. I was able to send that stuff home. You are able to send stuff home, but the advice would be, when you get to Japan, try to have as minimal stuff as possible. Yes, you can take your suitcase if you want. Maybe you'll be charged at the airport, but tip, if you keep all your receipts, once you get to Japan and to the military base, you'll be able to write all that off. You'll get your money back, okay? So remember that. Money-wise, if you want to take any money to Japan, maybe pull out a 50, exchange it at the airport. That way you have a little bit, but you won't need much. Or if you're gonna go straight to Japan, I'm telling you, because I didn't go straight to, I went to the Air Force base, not the Japanese International Airport. So, but at the Japanese International Airport, you can pull out straight from the ATM, and I'm pretty sure, I think it's 7-Eleven won't charge you, but if you have Navy Federal, another tip, you will get your money back. I just used an ATM the other day, and twice or 3 times I think, and I got my $20 rebate. I know I already addressed this in a couple videos, but when you do go to Japan, you're going to have a curfew, and that curfew is different depending on the rank you are and how many people you're with. So for starters, let's say you're alone and you want to go adventure Japan, your curfew is 10 p.m. okay, 2200. If you're with people, your curfew is 1. Okay, you have to be back on base by 1 o'clock. Alright, 1 a.m. You can't be transiting or walking around, driving anywhere in Japan from 1 to 5. Alright, between those times, you gotta be indoors. This curfew comes about because of accidents that have happened with Navy sailors and Japanese nationals. They're very bad accidents that happened. People did get killed. So Japanese got together with Americans and were like, hey, curfew during this time, we don't want to see sailors. So that's why we have curfew. I totally get it. It sucks sometimes because Japanese party hard till 5 a.m. I'll tell you that right now. How do I know? Don't tell anybody, but I was out there. So this is the thing. Yes, it's a curfew. You gotta take responsibilities for your own actions, right? If you don't get caught, you don't get in trouble. And I know that sounds so bad, but that's how the Navy is. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Tip advice. As long as you don't get caught, you're good, you're golden. So don't get caught with curfew violation, because yes, they are serious about it. If you do get caught, like one of my friends did, you will get restrictions. So that means you will be stuck on a ship for a certain amount of days. They will take your money away, half month's pay. You get paid twice a month. So they'll take one of your paychecks for depending on how long you have that restriction. So they did that to him. They could even drop your rank. Along with this curfew, you actually have to have a Liberty Buddy if you are going further away, or if you have like overnight things that you're gonna do. There's your Liberty Buddy, the person you're with, and then there's the Liberty Plan. So that's literally a piece of paper, Monday through Sunday on it, and you're gonna have to tell them where you're going, who you're going out with. This Liberty Plan has to be filled out before you can leave work. If you don't have one, you can't leave work. It's also set up to hold you accountable for your actions. Because I told you that these sailors, you know, had accidents. I don't want to call them accidents, but incidents where they killed somebody, beat up a Japanese national, they got belligerent drunk, whatever it is. Once you go up to court, let's say if you have an infraction, this paper will comes up and be like, oh, you were supposed to be at home at this time and you weren't. You will be also charged with this penalty because you did not follow the rules, you did not follow your Liberty Plan. So they take it very, very seriously. It's a legal contract that you're signing. So be careful with those. I've seen a lot of people get in trouble for not being where they say they were gonna be. And this just comes with going to Japan. Like I said, a lot of incidents that have taken place. You get used to it. It's annoying, yes. You are an ambassador. You are representing a country. So, you know, there's a lot of responsibility that comes behind that. You are representing America. If you show bad face, you'll of course ruin it for everybody else. I try to represent America as good as I could when I was there. I would be respectful of Japanese people. I would learn the language. I would talk about the country in a positive way, Japan, in a positive way, and that's actually how I felt. But never talk negative about the country that you're in, of course. Let's play this scenario out. Japanese Navy goes to America, beats up Americans, rapes Americans, kills Americans. Do you think that shows good face? They are the ambassador of Japan in your eyes. So reverse this. You, the sailor going to Japan, you are that ambassador. Don't mess up. Don't ruin Japan for everybody else. I love Japan. It's somewhere that I recently just went to after the Navy because I love it so much. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it for other foreigners as well. And these foreigners might be from European countries, from South America, whatever. Don't ruin it for other foreigners. Don't ruin it for Americans. Don't ruin it for Navy sailors. Don't make it worse than it already is with all the rules and regulations that we have. With being in Japan and getting stationed over there, if you are on a ship that goes on deployment, just think of it as half the year you're gone from Japan. Realize that now, because yes, I was there 3.5 years, but it was 6 months I was there, 6 months I was gone, 6 months I was there, 6 months I was gone, on and off. And then there would be times for emergencies or random drills or exercises that we would have to leave for a week at a time, 2 weeks at a time. So know that right now. You won't be there the whole 3 years. So when you do go on deployment, you will be able to go to other countries. Like another video I said, I was able to go to Australia, I was able to go to South Korea, Guam. We did this thing where we did a hull swap, which means all the crews from one ship changed to the other ship. So we did that in California. I was there for 2 weeks. On vacation, I was able to go to places like South Korea, but instead of the south of South Korea, I went to the north, pretty much of South Korea. I went to the north of South Korea, which is Seoul, right? So yeah, with the ship, I never got to go to Seoul, so I went to visit on my own. Where else did I go to? Oh, all over Japan. Seriously, like if you have vacation time, go to the north of Japan, go to the south of Japan. Totally different places, but great. Like, seriously, you're safe. Transportation is good. The food is good wherever you go. Yeah, I love Japan. Yeah, we'll just say that right now. Hopefully you do too when you get there. Find out the perks of living in Japan. Another thing with being stationed in Japan is that you can either get stationed in Yokosuka, Iwakuni, Sasebo, Okinawa, and maybe I'm forgetting one more, but different places. So do your research on which place you're going to be stationed, because you can either be like me, stationed in Yokosuka, which is only an hour and a half away from Tokyo, or you can be like someone who's in Okinawa, who's a plane ride away from Tokyo. Or you can be in Iwakuni, which I think is like a 2 or 3 hour Shinkansen ride, which is a bullet train ride. So, and the bullet trains are kind of expensive. So yeah, do your research. You could be in a rural area, or you can be like me in Yokosuka, which I consider city. If you talk to a Japanese person that doesn't know anything about Yokosuka, they might think that's the countryside, but I think Yokosuka is a city, which, yeah, it's a small city. Seriously, everything's there. There's a lot to do. Good place to get stationed. So now, here's this. Think about it. If you're all the way in Japan, and you get vacation days, what do you do with those vacation days? Do you stay in Japan? Do you go to another country near Japan? Or do you go back home? So for a lot of people I know, the answer was go back home, as into America. So yeah, we do make some money. We do save up quite a bit. Why would you spend your money to go back home? And I get it, you know, you can go see your family, your friends, whatever. Why would you spend over $1,000 to go see your family when you get there? And if you don't have a car, you probably have to rent a car. You probably want to like go all out and go shopping, take your family shopping or something like that, go out to restaurants and whatnot. Expensive. Let me just tell you that right now, it gets expensive. Don't go home, stay in Japan, travel. Go to South Korea, go to Taiwan, go to Thailand, go to Malaysia. Just go somewhere that's not America. It'll save you money. When in eventuality, you'll always go back home. Your first tour in Japan can only be up to 5 years, I think it is like that. You had been home for 20 something years, right? For the 3.5 years that I was living in Japan, I never once went back home. If you find yourself bored in Japan, then you're doing something wrong. But also, if you do have a lot of free time and you're in Japan, find a hobby. So as you know, right now you can see that I chose YouTube. And I chose it because, one, I wanted to help people that were joining the military, because I had no help. I kind of did it all on my own. So I really want to help people that might have questions. And what else? I don't know, it just always seemed cool, like, to be on YouTube, I guess. I don't know. So here I am. But yeah, just find something to do while you're in Japan and on the ship. Alright, so let's talk about dating and relationships. What that's like for single sailors going to Japan. So seriously, 99.9% of single sailors going to Japan will get into a relationship, right? 85% of those guys will get into a relationship with a Japanese national. So that means you're gonna go out with a Japanese girl, if that's your thing. And even if it's not your thing, you don't know that now. Once you get there, it's the only thing you got, so it'll be your thing. Speaking from experience. Along with dating, and then maybe dating for a while, you might want to get married. So that does happen. A lot of US sailors get married to a Japanese or Filipinas or Vietnamese, whatever it is. So you can do that, and that can be an option. And actually, if you do get married in Japan, you'll probably end up staying there longer, and you'll get that preference. So I had a friend who got married to a Japanese woman. She actually wanted to go to America, so the Navy sent them to America. But if he would have chosen to stay in Japan, they would have definitely accepted it more, or they would have been willing to relocate him in a different area of Japan just because he has a Japanese wife. Being in Japan, you're definitely going to be on different time zones than for everybody from America. So I had my family in Virginia, so when it would be 4 p.m. in Japan, it would be around 4 a.m., 5 a.m. in America. I would have to wait till nighttime in Japan to call my family, or wait until early morning to call them over there. So, you know, that was kind of, it actually made me talk to my family a lot less and my friends a lot less. Or if they did reply to me in messages, I would definitely reply a lot later. And so that can be a hassle, just something that you gotta definitely consider when you're making that move to Japan. Something you're gonna learn is drinking culture. And yes, it's a real thing. And I know in America you drink, you know, Europe, actually Europe I feel has like a better drinking culture too than America, but America you drink, whatever. Japan, okay, you order your drinks, and you always have to do your first kanpai, which means your first like cheers. That is sacred. So when you're with your friends and you get your beer and you don't do the kanpai, they're all gonna like look at you like, dude, what are you doing? Like, there's rules to this. So the other rule is you just drink, and drink a lot. And I know as a Navy sailor, of course, drinking a lot and whatever, but in Japan you gotta drink a lot, and then you gotta keep your composure. At least me in the military, seeing how other people are, it's like drink a lot, lose composure and just get messed up. In Japan it's like, okay, drink some more, okay, keep your composure, let's go. So yeah, you'll learn how to drink in Japan. Now don't become an alcoholic, all right? There's total difference. But yeah, know your limit, seriously. But if you do have a problem, there are people that you can talk to. You are in Japan and you're closer to North Korea, you're closer to China, you're closer to Russia. I'm not saying they're enemies or anything like that, but it does make life on a ship a little bit more hectic, a little bit more fast-paced. So be prepared for that. If you're stationed places like California or even Virginia, life is not as fast-paced, and I can tell you that from first-hand experience. One other thing, don't expect to drive. So you're gonna be living on base. Your ship from the exit of the base is like, I don't know, a mile, less than that, I don't know. So you won't need to drive really, unless like you have a family and then like you live off base. But for the most part, you won't be driving a car. And if you want, also I recommend buying a bicycle. I never did. There were days that I rented one, but most of the time I just walked. Transportation, I don't know if I've said it or if you know, in Japan is amazing. So all you need to do is walk from base to the train station, which is like a 25-minute walk. And I know it's 25 minutes who walks, but you know, if you're going on Blue Street, as they call it, you'll know where Blue Street is because it leads up right to base, and there's blue tiles everywhere. Japanese don't call it Blue Street, just so you know, only Americans do. But on Blue Street, you just walk that straight on, and then you'll get to the train station, and then you can go wherever you want from that train station. And me, I always went to Yokohama, or I went to Tokyo. My life, I miss it. Seriously, once you're done living that life, you're gonna miss it. So there's a pay difference if you're working in America to if you're working overseas. in the military. So what I would recommend from the very start, and it's something that I did, is save your money. Open a different bank account, open up a CD or whatever where you cannot touch that money. Trust me, you'll thank me if you do this when you are out of the Navy, or you actually need this big chunk of change. Of course, try to stick to below your means. Like I said, and if you're living on base and you have a barracks, you know, we have a galley there or a kitchen, so just take advantage of everything that's on base. Go to the movie theaters, go bowling, go drinking on base, and then on the weekends do something fun. Look, this was my weekend. From Friday to Sunday, I would get an Airbnb for Friday, Saturday, go out drinking with my friends, go out and eat. Sunday, come back, chill. And it was a little bit expensive, and that's why I'm saying only do it on the weekends, and if that's what you want to do. I always had friends that were in Tokyo and were available, so I had a lot of fun. And every weekend I didn't want to be cooped up on base, just because Monday through Thursday, of course, I would stay on base when we weren't on deployment. Alright guys, I don't know how long this video actually is gonna end up being after editing and everything, but hopefully you stayed through all of it and you learned something. Take notes and remember this when you have to go to Japan. All in all I want to say is just try new things and make the most of it. You will never get this chance again. Seriously, I'm telling you that right now. You will never get this chance again, and just live it. Just enjoy it. Take a lot of pictures, take a lot of video, learn Japanese if you can, learn about the culture, whatever it is. You won't regret it, and you'll make friends that, you know, that your only bond will be Japan. So you can, you know, always hit them up and you'll be like, hey, remember this, remember that, and then just reminisce. Seriously, like, all your friends back at home, your family back at home won't understand the life that you're going through. So also make a lot of friends that you can share that life with while you're in Japan. People on the ship, Japanese friends like I said, or if you have a significant other, you have a boyfriend there, you have a girlfriend there, make the most of it. And leave a comment, thumbs up, definitely helps for my videos. Until the next video guys, I'll see you guys around. Take care, bye.